Still away from my recording studio, so please bear with my AI voiceover. Sam is boarding a plane in Dubai headed back to London. The plane is captained by Robin Allen. Neela is working the security checkpoint. This suspicious-looking guy rushes through the checkpoint. On board, Gentleman Terry is helping the young lady with her suitcase. Colette, the flight attendant, is organizing supplies. On the ground in Dubai is our man Abdullah. Co-pilot Anna finishes the checks and we're ready to take off. Sam is having problems with his wife. He wants to work things out with her when he returns home, but she's already moved on. Her new man lies next to her while Sam's out here text begging. Hugo, the passenger next to him, is spying on Sam's romantic drama. Terry and the cute athlete wait to use the lavatory. I'm going to call her Cutie because I couldn't find her character name on IMDb. As passenger Jamie leaves the lavatory, Cutie enters. Inside, Cutie is perplexed by an object she finds on the floor. She returns to her seat and shows her discovery with her friends. The ladies beckon Terry's attention. The object is a bullet. Terry tells the ladies not to be alarmed. Don't spread panic amongst the other passengers. He'll go grab a flight attendant and make an inquiry. He makes his way into first class and approaches Stuart to inform him about Cutie's discovery. Stuart tells him that they'll have to accelerate their plans. Sam eavesdrops on their interaction. Stuart tells Terry to put on the green cap to let the rest of the team know that it's go time. Sam has grown very concerned over what's to come. Meanwhile, Neela gets an emergency call from home and leaves her station. Terry returns to his section and tells the young ladies that he sorted out the issue with the flight attendant. He tells them a half-baked explanation where the attendant explained that a security person must have dropped the bullet. They ain't buying it. Stuart leaves his seat and Sam has eyes on him. The ladies aren't convinced and decide to get a first-hand explanation from the flight attendant. He has no idea what the ladies are talking about or anything about a bullet being found. The ever-observant Sam is trying to piece things together. Passenger Jaden retrieves a blue bag. Inside is a gun. Stuart has retrieved an identical bag. Sam notices that passenger Jamie has the same bag. He asks an attendant if blue bags are standard issued. They're not. Something's afoot. Jamie sets things off. The hijacking begins. Jaden pops off. Passengers freak out. Damn, Terry got a heater too. Stuart points his gun in the flight attendant's face. Damn, Sam, we in a jam. Arthur gets the cockpit on the phone. He warns co-pilot Anna about the situation. The captain receives the information and contacts the ground in Dubai about a potential situation. As he checks the monitors, he sees the hijackers with weapons. He confirms the situation with ground Dubai. Two wannabe cowboys in first class jump to action and begin plotting a rescue. Sam tempers their plan until they can get more info. Stuart summons flight attendant Colette. He tells her to call the pilot and have him open the door. She tells Stuart that's a no-go due to procedure. Anna answers the call and confirms Colette's words. The door is not going to be opened. Stuart tells Colette that she needs to talk to the captain, not Anna. See, Stuart informs Colette that he knows she's the captain's side chick. He'll open the door, or his little happy time girl catches a bullet. When the captain learns that Colette's in danger, he agrees to open the door. But Anna stops him. He warns her not to try to stop him again. When he picked up that water bottle, she should have gotten the clue. Yet she tried to stop him again, and he went straight bananas on her face with that bottle. I thought he killed her. The door pops open. Colette evades a new hole in her head. Stuart enters the cockpit, and just like that, the plane has been hijacked. Back in London, Sam's son is greeted by his mom and her new boyfriend, Detective Daniel. Yep, she done invited the police into her house and her bedroom. Tragic. Ground Dubai gets a call from the captain that his distress report was a false flag. Abdullah reports it, but with an amount of doubt. Stuart orders the captain to turn off the plane's Wi-Fi. Before getting his mobile snatched, Sam seizes the opportunity to alert his wife of the crisis. By the way, Neela has made it home and is seeking, but is not finding anyone inside. The hijackers have the flight attendant announce that the plane is under their control. Don't try to be heroes. I hope the cowboys got the message. Sam's family discussed the text message they received. Detective Loverboy Daniel does not ignore red flags. He tells the family that he'll look into it. Stuart is accessing the situation when he's approached by Sam. Sam tells him that he's only concerned with getting home to his family. He doesn't want to get in their way. He offers to help them. The hijackers ask Sam how can he help them and why they shouldn't shoot him right then and now. He clues them in that he knows this wasn't their plan and that things are already going wrong for them. Tells them he can help control the passengers. Meanwhile, the cowboys are ready to put into action everything they've learned from watching action movies. They wait for Jaden to pass them by, and then they attack. A shot was fired, but they managed to get the gun out of his hand. However, they're wannabe cowboys, not real cowboys, so they are quickly subdued. Sam picks up Jaden's gun and has Stewart in his crosshairs, but hands it over. Detective Loverboy calls one of his exes, Zara, who's in the counterintelligence agency. Look at the cowboys now. Hijacker Jaden has them on watch. The hijackers have the attendant announce that if anyone else wants to join Team Cowboy, they'll end up getting put down. Sam makes eye contact with Stewart. He writes a note and passes it to him. Stewart reads the note and it says, "The pilot is a problem." Zara, the intelligence officer, reaches out to London Ground about Sam's SOS text message. London reaches out to Ground Dubai and is told it was a false alarm. When Abdullah hears of London's inquiry, his suspicion spikes. He recalls that the captain's demeanor was off when he called in the false alarm. Sam tells Stewart that having the captain remain in the cockpit is unnecessary and that he could sabotage their operation. Stewart addresses the captain, and the captain confirms that the plane could be put on autopilot until landing. The hijackers tell passenger Karen that her frequent flyer points are voided and yank her from her seat and place the captain there. Cowboys, yee-haw. Abdullah does his own investigation to see if there are other oddities about the flight. He studies the tapes and learns that the security worker Neela mysteriously left in the middle of her shift. Neela is an old acquaintance, so he decides to check in on her on his lunch break. When he can't reach either her or her husband by phone, he decides to swing by their house. Now is a great time to play video games. Actually, it's Sam sending a chat request to the captain through a video game interface. He asks the captain what will happen if the cockpit remains unmanned. Basically, the Iraqis will see that their airspace has been violated, shoot down the plane, everyone dies, end of the series, roll the credits. Take that, hijackers. The plane approaches Iraqi airspace. Iraqi ground calls the cockpit. The hijackers don't know what to do. Their plans have gone to shit. Sam tells Stewart that the captain must answer that call, otherwise they could encounter an Iraqi military response. Stewart gets co-pilot Anna to take the call. The communication raises red flags to ground Iraq. The call is answered late. It's the co-pilot instead of the pilot, plus she initially tried to come off as the captain. The hijackers finally allow the captain to speak. He tells ground Iraq that he was on the shitter. The Iraqi dude smells a rat but allows the aircraft clearance. Disaster averted. But check it. On his way out, the captain covertly managed to divert the plane off of its normal path. Zara reports back to Detective Loverboy that the whole thing was a false alarm. She then tries to give him some relationship advice, but click. Hello? You still there? Alice reports for work at Ground London and her crew catches her up on the haps. Well, Dubai to London got a possible hijacking call, but it was a false alarm. Oh yeah. And then London counterintelligence called us to inquire about a problem on the same flight. Also, the plane's Wi-Fi has been turned off. What? Y'all didn't think this was suspicious? Alice calls traffic control in Iraq. She asked if anything was off and they tell her that things seemed very off. Alice checks the flight display and notices that the plane has deviated off its route, signaling that there's been a problem. Back on the plane, the captain alerts Sam that their plan succeeded. Abdullah arrives at Neela's home and is greeted by some cleaners. This looks bad. Run, Abdullah, run. The cleaners tell Abdullah that Neela is upstairs, which was actually true. They forgot to mention that she and her husband were upstairs, dead. And in a blink of an eye, so is Abdullah. Damn, I like dude. The pieces are coming together. After Alice communicates with Zara and she runs the problem up the chain to her superiors, they realize that they have a hijacking on their hands. An interesting development on the plane, passenger Yusuf thinks that the hijackers' guns are loaded with blanks. This has weight since Yusuf is Egyptian ex-military, and he knows these types of things. When the gun was fired during the Cowboys' failed coup, there were no after effects, no harm to the plane. Given the possibility of de-weaponized hijackers, Hugo grows a backbone and wants to revolt. Sam tells him that so far it's just a theory that they're using blanks and that he needs to chill out. Sam tells Hugo that he and the captain are working on their own plan. Hugo ain't listening to no one. He's in full cowboy mode now. He fakes an illness and asks to go to the lavatory. Hijacker Jamie allows it, but tells him he better have receipts on his reported illness. Inside the lavatory, Hugo writes a note and upon exiting, throws it down the aisle. A passenger gets the note, which requests that she try to find the shell of the previously fired bullet. Another border crossing. Another call from ground control. This time it's Istanbul. The captain tells Stewart that this is going to happen at every border crossing. Istanbul ground alerts the captain that his plane has gone off path. The captain makes up an excuse about avoiding bad weather and resets his projection. A situation is developing in another part of the plane. A young man's uncle needs his insulin from the baggage compartment. Hijacker Jaden has no mercy for their request as he's still steaming mad after the Cowboys' rescue attack. Stewart feels that control is slipping away. He orders a shutdown on all passenger movement. If the passengers have to shit themselves, so be it. The chosen one's search for a bullet casing comes up short when a hijacker catches her and puts her back in her seat. She signals to Hugo that there was no casing. With no casing found, Hugo is all green lights on, overtaking the hijackers. Ground London has begun crisis meetings. Alice informs them that the plane's projection has changed yet again. It's changed into a zigzag pattern which confirms the hijacking. Look, a cat solving a Rubik's Cube during a hijacking. Stewart catches the captain chatting with Sam. For this, the captain gets a proper pistol whip. Sam chastises Stewart for cracking the pilot since that dude is going to have to land the plane later. Duh. Well, Stewart has had enough chatter from the peanut gallery. He rushes at Sam and Sam grabs his hand in an act of strength, sorta to let Stewart know that he's the real strength on the plane. This sets Stewart off. Under threat of shooting an innocent passenger, Stewart makes Sam sit still while he prepares to pistol whip him. Yet he doesn't hit him. It's just a power play. Hugo wants to talk strategy, but Sam ain't in the mood for talking, dude. Sam comes out of deep thought. He needs to find out if these cats are using blanks. He asks Yusuf if he could prove that they have blanks. Yusuf can if they can get one of the bullets. Flight attendant Arthur then tells them of the young cutie finding a bullet in the lavatory. Yusuf draws a picture of two bullets, one real, the other a blank. They give the drawing to Sam. Zara updates Detective Loverboy. He wants her to give him more information so that he can assist, but she tells him that it's classified. Zara then receives background information on all passengers. Only one passenger had a serious crime in the past. Our Rubik's Cube enthusiast attempted to kill a man. Zara bucks the rules and sends the flight manifest to Loverboy. Stewart makes a call to a mystery guy who has authority over this operation and leaves a message. The message gives the status of the hijacking and tells them that it's their move now. Stewart then complains to Jamie that the sumbitch didn't even answer the phone. Flight attendant ready to rip out throats. Sam asks her to pass a note to attendant Arthur. The note is passed to Arthur. He travels down to Cutie and gives her Yusuf's bullet drawing. He gives her careful instructions to identify the type of bullet that she found in the lavatory. After deliberation with her comrades, she identifies the bullet. The bullet was a blank. Sam tells Hugo that this changes everything. Detective Loverboy has analyzed the manifest. His findings are that 5 passengers have passports, yet they don't exist in reality. These are the hijackers. Sam comes up with a plan of attack. He tells Hugo that they'll take down old Terry first, since he's the most isolated hijacker. They'll take his weapon and check the bullets, and then proceed to the next. Meanwhile, my man has had enough of his uncle's suffering. With no fucks left, he rises up from his seat to get the insulin. Jaden attacks and throws him to the floor. A chaotic scene in that part of the plane. A perfect opportunity for Sam and Hugo to begin their attack. Well, in the moment of truth, Hugo goes wet noodle limp. Sam is on his own. Stewart surveys the chaos and retrieves another bag in his carry-on. Sam catches a glimpse of Stewart doing this as he himself navigates toward hijacker Terry. There go the Cowboys. Yeehaw! Jaden still wrestling the fuckless nephew in the aisle. Sam awaits his moment. Stewart's other bag has a clip of that real steel, no more blanks, kids. Time to take Terry out. Sam pulls out a metal tray and clobbers him. The two tussle. Terry got more fight in him than I thought. He's got Sam down. Rubik's Cube attempted murderer comes to Sam's rescue. However, Terry manages to recover his gun and holds the two at gunpoint. Rubik's Cube pieces out and goes back to his seat. Sam tells Terry that he's got blanks and dares him to shoot. But here comes Stewart with that real pow pow pow. Gunshots. And that's the first 3 episodes, folks. Yo, the robotic AI voice can't express it well enough, but I love this show. It would be so easy for a show with this many moving parts to fall flat as they attempt to flesh out each character. But no, we get just the right amount of focus on each person, plus there's room for even more character development. We haven't even met the mastermind behind all this yet. At least I don't think we have. Idris Elba is so strong in the lead, and Neil Maskell manages to give a layered performance as the lead hijacker. Increasingly good. I'm giving the first 3 episodes a 9. Invest your time in this series. I am very in on Hijack.